Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we are going to ISM Raceway, a track that I somewhat struggle at. I can usually qualify good here, but we really struggle in race trim. And obviously last episode we had a bit of a run-in with Martin Truex Jr. and we made it well known that we are going to be getting payback on him. So as we look to our Xfinity race though, we had Derek Kraus in his first Xfinity start for our team as we went down into turns 1. He didn't qualify the greatest as we're still trying to make up for the difference that we lost over the offseason with this team that we won a championship with last season with Haley Deegan, but we've just kind of fell off in the offseason and we're still trying to recover from that loss. And by the time we came to about the midway point in this race, Kraus hadn't really gained anything at all, and it was really the same trend throughout the rest of this race. By the time he came to the final lap, still running in that 19th position as he went down into turns 1 and turns 2 for the final time here in ISM Raceway, just in front of the 16 of Ryan Reed in the Roush Fenway Lilly Diabetes car as he came down the back straightaway for the final time. Still a half-decent run for Derek Kraus in his first career Xfinity race as he came through turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time. He would exit turn 4 to come through and finish in P19, which is still one of the better finishes for this team this season. So still a lot of work to be done, and every time we have a finish like this, it's going to put us in a bigger hole when it comes to pointing our way into the playoffs. But hopefully we can get this car to a winning team, therefore we can just kind of win ourselves into the playoffs. But now as we focus in on the Cup Series race, I'm coming into this episode, I said last episode that we're definitely going to be getting payback on Martin Truex Jr. and that was the goal. And we came to qualifying and had a great qualifying run. We made it to the final session, coming through turns 3 and turns 4, exiting turn 4, coming down the front straightaway. Would cut the dog leg a bit and go with a 26.759 and go P1, and I decided to try and make another attempt at a lap going into turns 1 and 2, but you can see I get very sideways, so I had to call the lap here as it completely killed the lap, but we would still get the pole, so we will start P1 here in ISM.
Welcome to Avondale, Arizona, and the recently rebranded ISM Raceway for today's running of the Ticket Guardian 500. ISM, formerly Phoenix International Raceway, recently completed a massive renovation that has dramatically improved the race experience for fans. One of the biggest changes was the moving of the grandstands to the south side of the track, giving spectators some much-needed shade. But this change meant the start-finish line and pits also needed to move to the former location of Turn 2. Will these new updates have a big impact on the outcome of today's race? Let's head on down to the track and find out.
Alright, we are ready to go green here in ISM Raceway. We start on the front row on the pole with our teammate, our new teammate, Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex Jr. will start in the 3rd position just behind me. We've already kind of discussed our plans with him in today's race, but we're going to try and get away as soon as possible as the green flag is out. We are underway here in ISM Raceway now as we come through to cross the line. And we get a very good start compared to the other drivers now as we pull a good 2 car lengths or so ahead of 2nd place. Kevin Harvick is head down into turns 1 and turns 2, exiting 2, trying to build up the gap. We usually struggle here a lot on the exit of turn 4, so that's really our weakest spot. And I don't expect to be a contender for the win here. We usually qualify really good and can't really finish very good now as we come through, though, to complete the first lap. We at least lead the first lap of this race as we cut the dog leg, trying to make up for the difference that we lose out of turn 4 compared to the AI as we head down into turns 1 and 2. This is our strong part of the track, so we're going to try and make up all the time we can through turns 1 and 2 now as we get just a little bit sideways as we came down the back straightaway, but we would continue to hang on to the lead at least in the early part of this race. Harvick and Truex pretty close to my back bumper as we came through to start this 4th lap now as we went down into turns 1 and 2, getting a little sideways on the entrance of the corner now as we exit the corner, getting sideways again just a little bit, but the car hooked very well. And by the time we came to lap 5, dealing with the same issue as we went into turns 3 and 4, getting very sideways towards the yellow line as we almost overcorrect right into the wall. We would give up the lead after having a huge just snap in the back end, and we got very fortunate as if you watch it back, I was heading straight at the wall, and we just were really lucky to make a big save there and keep in it, but we would give up obviously all these positions, still dealing with a little bit of a loose car. But by the time we came to the midway point of the stage with 8 to go, we were finally starting to get the car to handle better as we weren't dealing with the looseness as much, and I was certainly thinking about maybe making a wedge adjustment when we come to pit road now as we come out of turn 2 down the back straightaway, running in that 6th position, and we would lose one more spot and fall back to 7th by the time we approach the white flag in stage 1, with now Austin Dillon looking to my inside as I was just kind of in management mode at this point. I was just trying to save these tires as we come through the dog leg down into turns 1 and 2 on the white flag here in this first stage as we come through turns 1 and 2 side by side with the 3 of Austin Dillon as we exit the corner. Austin Dillon having a pretty decent start to this season. He might be a playoff contender this season now as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4. We try the crossover as we look to his inside now side by side as we come out of turn 4 with the 3 of Austin Dillon, but he will hang on to get 7th, and we will come through to finish 8th in stage 1. So not a great finish, but could have been a lot worse if we would have went head on into that wall. Now, as your stage winner, I believe it was Kevin Harvick, so our teammate wins the stage as we would stay out along with the other cars and get ready to start in P8 here for stage 2. And we have our former teammate of Kyle Larson just in front of me for this restart. Now as we get ready to go green, the green flag is out here as we are starting the second stage here in the West Coast swing here in ISM Raceway as we head down towards turns 1. Our teammate Clint Boyer on my back bumper as I briefly go to the top, thinking about maybe trying to make it 3 wide with our former teammate of Larson, but then I think better of it and fall back in behind him as we come down the back straightaway with a chance to get down behind the 9 of Elliott, just in front of 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson as we head into turns 3 and turns 4. And this is our weakest spot. You'll see here we just cannot keep the speed with the AI on the exit of turn 4, so we always have to kind of cut the dog leg to at least maintain the difference now as we head down into turns 1 and turns 2, running in that 9th position as Chase Elliott, who's also had a great start to this season compared to the first 2 seasons of our Cup career. He's doing much better this time around in the 2019 DLC as we head down into turn 3, looking to the inside of the 42 of Larson, trying to just slowly work our way up. And usually stage 2 is a stage I really struggle because the tires really wear, so I'm not expecting even a points finish in this stage as we head down into turns 1 and 2. Larson looks to the inside of the 2 of Brad Keselowski as we start closing in on the back of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., who's just ahead here as we come down the back straightaway side by side with Keselowski as we went down into turns 3 and turns 4. As Kyle Busch now leads this race as he comes through across the line to lead the lap as we battle with the 2 as we cut the dog leg trying to get ahead of Keselowski as we head down into turns 1 and 2. He would clear me for a moment. By the time we came to lap 5 though, he would pull away, but we got to the back of the 19 of Truex, letting him know that we are certainly here and we're ready to give it to him as we come down the back straightaway. We're not going to get payback right now as we had a bit of an audio cutout at this moment in the video as we went down into turns 3 and turns 4. And as we came to just lap 7 now on the stage, we had problems up ahead of Matt DiBenedetto, who had an issue. He blows the tire and into the wall he goes, coming down in front of the field, and around he goes as we have to get on the brakes and avoid him, and somehow no caution comes out, and that completely destroys my momentum, and we fall well outside of the top 10, just in front of the 88 of Alex Bowman as we get really lucky to get down in front of the 1 of Kurt Busch. But a very odd moment as DiBenedetto, I saw a car slow a lap before, and then there he was into the wall the next lap and just about cleaned out myself and other drivers as somehow there wasn't a caution. But by the time we came to just 4 to go in the stage, I was starting to really deal with some handling issues again with 4 to go, so I was really trying to manage it the best I can as you see me sliding into the entrance of turns 1, now riding behind the 20 of Eric Jones as we come down the back straightaway, looking at 3 to go this time by as we head down into turns 3 and 4, trying to get stage points if we can as we send it up the inside of the 20 as we exit turn 4 side by side, but we get very loose as we come out of the corner and around we go into the 9 and we collect him and the 43 of Bubba Wallace, but we get very fortunate to bring out the caution and we would end the stage in P14 as that was certainly not a moment I was expecting. We came out of turn 4 and the handling issues just really came in effect, so I figured we would come to pit road, obviously make an adjustment. I would actually turn the wedge down because of how tight I felt. It certainly could be a questionable move, but we try it anyways as we get ready to start this final stage, and we are underway once again here in ISM Raceway. Certainly an eventful race for myself at this point here with trouble at the end of stage 2 spinning out with the 9, but we got really lucky there. We barely got any damage at all. Maybe on the right side now as we go through turns 1 and 2 side by side with the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, and this long run here on this final stage could be an issue as well, as we saw last season in the playoff race how a long run can really hurt us, and even a caution at the end of a long run could be very bad for us. So certainly not looking forward to this final run unless we can maybe pit again, but hopefully we will be able to make something happen as we come through to complete that first lap in the final stages. We sit P13, trying to rally our way back forward from issues that we've had so far, as Larson runs second now behind the leader of Kyle Busch as we come down the back straightaway out of turn 2, heading down into turns 3 and turns 4. And we look to the inside of the 20 of Eric Jones as we come through turns 3, clearing the 20 with no problem at all now as we battle alongside the 12 of Blaney as we cross the line, hitting 40 laps to go in this race. Now, as that leaves us a good amount of time, not a terrible, or not a very long amount of time, but not terribly short now as we come through turns 1 and 2, closing in on the back of the 88 of Alex Bowman as we would work our way up now to P11 behind the 88. By the time we came to lap 40, an opportunity maybe to get close to that 19 as he was drifting back on this outside line. As we look to the inside, we get very loose on the exit of the corner, allowing Paul Menard to look to my outside as we would cut the dog leg and come through back onto the track, just about clear the 21, but not quite as we head down into turns 1 and turns 2, closing in on the back of the 19 as he is a little bit slower right now and we are all over his back bumper. This is certainly an opportunity here as we come down the back straightaway, heading into turns 3 and turns 4. We're going to look to the inside and hit him in the left rear, and sideways goes the 19, but he's going to hang on to it now as we come out of turn 4, but giving the 19 a little bit of payback. Don't forget though, he got into us twice last episode, so certainly it's not over between me and the 19 of Truex. He got into us early last episode and he wrecked us, so I didn't really consider it even at this point as we came through turns 2. Just wanted to at least let him know though that we certainly do not appreciate what happened in Las Vegas, and we would run down the 1 of Kurt Busch and actually look to his inside by the time we came to lap 48, approaching lap 49, trying to clear the 1 to take that 8th spot away, but we gave him the room he needed to battle alongside me on the outside as we would come back on the track to rejoin side by side with the 1 of Kurt Busch. As we head down into turns 1 and 2, we would finally clear the 1 and take over the 8th position in turns 1 and 2, and we would try to close in on the cars up ahead, and we would slowly run down Eric Almirola, but by the time we came to lap 54, we had caught him. But look who has caught me in my mirror. Martin Truex Jr. is driven back through the field, and he has run me down as we go down the back straightaway, heading into turns 3 and 4, cutting the 19 off just a little bit, looking to the inside of the 10 of Almirola as we try to get past him, as really I don't want to be around the 19 right now as we come across the line, just trying to hold him off and get ahead of Almirola to put our teammate between myself and Truex as we head down into turns 1 and 2 with just over 20 or so laps to go in this race as we exit turn 2, closing in on the back of him down the back straightaway, but he puts a gap between himself and I. Not a big gap, but a little bit of a gap as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4. Truex is going to look up the inside and we make contact, and now he goes sideways, but he saves it again, as that might have been my fault that time, but certainly not what I was expecting from him now as we come through with 23 to go, as that would put a gap between myself and Almirola, obviously, with that contact, but certainly me and Truex not getting along in this race, just like last episode. And as we exited the corner, slowly closing in again on Eric Almirola, and by the time we came to lap 57, we would end up actually getting a caution in the 8th position. Not sure what it was for, but we would come to pit road and take 2 tires, as I felt like we needed to try and just take these 2 tires to give us a chance here with this final stretch to the finish. We would lose 10 positions, but I feel like these 10 positions will be worth it in the end now as we get ready to go green now in ISM. The green flag is back out, just 19 remain as we cross the line now behind the 24 of William Byron as we get a very poor restart actually as we head down towards turns 1 and 2. Jones gets down to the bottom as he briefly looked to that top line as we come through the center of the corner on the outside of the 24, making a 3 wide, but the 88 of Bowman has a terrible exit to the corner, so we have to get out of the throttle and make a 3 wide up the middle just about, but Jones gets clear, and that gives me the opportunity to get down to the inside as Bowman had a terrible restart now as we came out of turn 4, side by side with him as we exit or come through across the line as Kyle Larson leads this race, who is still yet to win in over a season now as we come down into turns 1 and 2, trying to clear the 24 now of William Byron as Harvick, our teammate, sits P2 as he started this race in second as we battle alongside the 48 of Jimmy Johnson down the back straightaway as we head down into turn 3, making a little bit of contact with the 48 as we go into the corner now, looking to the inside of the 20 as well, just trying to gain as many spots as we can as Blaney's on the outside of the 20 as we cross the line with just 17 laps to go in this race. Certainly definitely running out of time, but I felt like these 2 tires were paying off as we would get past Blaney, move up to 14th by the time we came to lap 63. And there you see the 19 again on this outside line. He's slowly starting to drift back, and I'm thinking, well, maybe we could give it back to him once again as we come down the back straightaway, though, into turns 3 and turns 4. Jones makes it 3 wide with Menard and Truex, and certainly an ambitious move to say the least, and it pays off. He gains 2 positions. We would also have Bowman around me by the time we came to lap 65, running P14 with Truex here on my right hand side, and certainly an opportunity to maybe get him again as we hit him in the left rear again. And sideways he goes as he makes a huge save for the second time, but I really considered us to maybe be even at this point. Now as we hit 13 to go, as we completely ruined his chances of a top 10 finish as we came to lap 69, though Bowman got by me, and we looked to the inside of Joey Logano, who started falling off a bit as we tried to rally our way back now as we are finally setting our focus on getting that top 10 after getting Truex out of the way again as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4, trying to slide up in front of the 22 of Logano, but he's going to hang on my right door as we come through across the line to hit just the 9 laps to go in this race as Logano putting on a good battle, but by the time we came to lap 71 going into turns 1 and 2, we would finally clear the 22 of Joey Logano, who won the Daytona 500 this season and locked himself into the playoffs, and we would work on the 88 of Bowman by the time coming to 2 laps to go at this point in the race, looking to the inside of Bowman on the exit of turns 4, trying to get that position as we still want a top 10 as we come across the line. We finish in the top 10 every race so far this season. Very lucky last episode, and we're going to try and do it again as we head down into turns 1 and 2 with 2 laps to go here in ISM Raceway, clearing the 88 of Bowman on the exit of corner, setting our sights on the 21 of the Wood Brothers racing car with Paul Menard as the pilot as we head down into turns 3 and 4, looking up his inside as we come through the center of the corner. The white flag is in the air for the leaders now as we exit turn 4 to come through side by side with the 21 of Menard as we cut the dog leg for the final time as we head down into turns 1 and 2, still side by side with the 21, but we clear Menard going into the corner to take the 10th position away behind our Stewart Haas Racing teammate of Clint Boyer as we exit turn 2 down the back straightaway. Menard and Logano side by side as we head into turns 3 and 4 for the final time, and we are going to come through on the exit of 4. Logano clears the 21, but we will finish in the 10th position here in ISM Raceway. And that was a very interesting race. We got payback on Truex. We had a bit of an incident with Elliott where we spun. Kevin Harvick, our teammate, would win to get his first win of the season. Our former teammate Kyle Larson came up just short to finish second here in ISM, as Matt DiBenedetto finished dead last with a DNF of 53 laps down, so not a good effort for him. Now as we would bring home a good amount of money. There you see the 4 drivers with a win now: Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr., and our teammate Kevin Harvick to bring home the first win for Stewart Haas Racing this season, as we would get almost $400,000, which really all the money I'm gaining right now is just getting put back into the Xfinity team as we try to close up the difference. Now as Chase Elliott not very happy with me, we apologize. That was our fault when we lost the car and got him involved. Same as Bubba Wallace and Kurt Busch. They're not all happy, and surprisingly Martin Truex Jr. doesn't say anything about the incidents that happened, which was very surprising, so I figured we'd go in and check the reputation to see if he's at least angry or anything, but he wasn't even on the chart for drivers that were upset. Now as you see, as we switch over to Monster Energy, there's nothing for Truex, so I was very surprised. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my videos, and in the next episode we will round up the West Coast Swingin' Auto Club. Hopefully we can pull off a victory there, and there you see the playoff grid. But I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a great day.